अपने फोन पे भी देखना लिंक भेज देना। ये फ्लिकर तो अभी भी आ रहा है। फोन पे देखो फोटो फिल्टर आ जाएगा है या ये देख ये रहा अबे देखो क्या चल रहा है। सही है, मैं निकल रहा हूँ। दस मिनट में नहीं आओ तो कोलैब बस से आना, मैं समझ जाना बस और ये मत निकालना। हेलो हेलो हेलो
माइक
आवाज नहीं आ रही क्या? माइक ऑन माइक पे बोल नहीं ना, आ तो रही है ना, ये तो इसको रुक जाओ। हाँ बस सही है ना इसके अंदर, क्योंकि ये तो माइक इसका यूज हो रहा है उसके अंदर जो तुमने सेट किया ना।
guest, Mr. Hamza Farooq, and he has joined us on a very short notice. I know he's a very busy man, mashallah, very successful man as well. He's CEO of Traversal.ai and a graduate from FAST University. Then I think Dumps as well, and now he's based in USA. इम्पोर्टेंट बात यह है कि ये वो लोग हैं जो ना सिर्फ अपनी प्रोफेशन में, अपने कैरियर में, अपनी फील्ड में बहुत सक्सेसफुल हैं, और ये नहीं कह रहे बल्कि हम कह रहे हैं इनको देख के, ठीक है। और दूसरी बात ये है कि दे आर ऑलवेज विलिंग टू कंट्रीब्यूट फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, ऑफ द कम्युनिटी, ऑफ द कंट्री, ऑफ द नेशन, ठीक है। और यानी इतने डाउन टू अर्थ और इतने ज्यादा विलिंग टू कंट्रीब्यूट और अपनी नॉलेज को शेयर करने का इनको जो पैशन है, जो मैंने भी थोड़ी देर इनसे बैठ के बात करने का मौका मिला, तो ऐसे लोग अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मौजूद हैं जो वाकई आप लोगों के लिए अपना यानी जो एक्सपीरियंस है, अपनी जो नॉलेज है, और यानी वो शेयर करने के लिए दे आर ऑलवेज विलिंग। तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, और ये हम सब लोगों के लिए आई थिंक एक लेसन भी है कि अगर आपने सक्सेसफुल बनना है अपने कैरियर में ऊपर जाना है, तो आपको अपना जो माइंडसेट है वही चेंज करना पड़ेगा। आपको नॉलेज शेयरिंग के लिए अपने आप को जो है वो यानी तैयार करना पड़ेगा, और आपके अंदर एक थर्स्ट होगी कि मैं लोगों को जो है शेयर करूं अपना एक्सपीरियंस, नॉलेज, ताकि मेरी तरह जितने दूसरे लोग हैं वो भी अपने कैरियर में कामयाब हो जाएं। तो मेरे पास तो इनको यानी कि थैंक्स कहने के लिए अल्फाज नहीं है। बहरहाल विदाउट वेस्टिंग फर्दर टाइम I request Mr. Hamza please come and start the session. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry. अब आप लोग सब इधर ready? Assalamualaikum everyone. Can everybody hear me? Yes. All right. First off, everyone, thank you for being here. I know you guys have better things to do. I'm going to take 1 hour of your time today at best, and I'll try to share my journey, my experience, and what I know about AI in this world. I mean, I know and I understand that most of you know probably more than me. Again, most of you have worked on AI in some form or the other. How many of you use Lovable or know what Lovable is? Okay, so few of you. How many of you know what Google ADK is? One, two, three. So I think this is going to be a great conversation. My idea is to sort of help inspire you, think about what's happening in the world out there, and what are the opportunities जो कि आप लोग उन चीजों पर काम कर सकते हैं, or you can build them. What I'll do is that I will go for the next 35 minutes with with the content which I have, and then उसके बाद I'm going to open up floor for questions. The reason I want to answer questions is that I don't know what you're thinking. I don't want you to assume anything that you have in your mind. I would love for you to ask me
we will be as honest as we can to answer as many questions as possible. It could be about how we hire in Pakistan. It could be hire about what kind of work we're doing in Pakistan. It's about if you need any directions or mentoring that we can help you with. I want to make sure that that's all. All right, so let's get started. Today's talk is on generative AI for Pakistani developers. The idea is to focus on what we are doing in US so that you can learn from that and sort of go from there. So, reintroducing myself, I know Dr. Obashi introduced me. My name is Hamza. I run a trust startup with the name of Traversal.ai. It's a very difficult name to pronounce. We are thinking of changing the name to something simpler. Traversal basically means going from one edge to the other on knowledge graphs. If you've worked with graphs, the word traversal sort of resonates from there. So my earlier career was in knowledge graphs. I worked a lot on recommendation systems and search. So do you guys know Walmart? So I worked on Walmart search for a long time. I helped build semantic search over there. And there's another small company with the name of Google. You guys have heard of Google, right? So Google, I was also part of Google search team. So my experience is a lot in knowledge graphs and retrieval systems on that. So I thought it'd be a fancy name to name my company with the name, but something that I've been doing. Funny thing is, nobody can remember the name. Two, nobody can pronounce it. Most people say it's transversal AI. So we're thinking of changing the name to Olive or something. We'll talk about what Olive is, but we're thinking of changing the name. All right. As I said, I was previously at Google. Before that, I was at Walmart. I also teach at multiple universities. There's an online platform called Maven. Dr. Mari took one of my courses. We love to have students also join our courses, and we give scholarships for that. Every time we apply for, we open a cohort. Because I think 300-400 बच्चे apply करते हैं from all over the world for scholarships, and two of them we select like 2 or 3 people every cohort, and we run like 4 cohorts a year. I actively teach at UCLA, Stanford Division, Stanford Continuing Studies. I teach over there. University of Minnesota. Sometimes I teach at LAM. So NED has never invited me to teach. Sad about it, but hopefully, inshallah, we'll get the opportunity. I'm joined here with Arish. Arish, do you want to just introduce yourself?
So my name is Hamza, and I've been working in the field of AI for the last 2.5 years. I started my career as machine learning engineer in KDYS lab, and then I joined Traversal as an NLP researcher. Currently, I work with agents as well as I work on the research perspective of Traversal AI, where we build models for Google, as well as we are researching about agents, about code agents, and as well as other agents that can help build the base for the future research and everything. So one of my work, usually my work revolves around the multimodal agents, and it is based on multilingual LLM. So if anybody has any question regarding it, they can ask me in that area.
Awesome. So I'll just do one more introduction to Arish. She is the most feared developer in our entire company. If she says this is wrong, then nobody can refute on that. So if any one of you gets an opportunity to learn from her, you are in luck. Like I actually come to her and I say, I can't do this, can you please take care of this? And she takes care of this. And I can code and I can write code also. So knowing the fact that we have somebody like her in our team makes us very lucky. And she's been leading a lot of things for us. So it's just amazing that Pakistan has a lot of talent, and we're very lucky to have that kind of talent both of us. We are in about 4 or 5 countries now. When we are in Pakistan, we have an office in India. This map needs to be updated. We have people in Paris. We have people in Scotland. We have of course, we have a team in US. So we keep hiring. I think every month or 2 months we hire someone in our company. We have to stop doing that at some point. But the idea is that we are getting more and more customers. So we are building ourselves. What's the most important thing for you here? What is it that we do? We build vertical agents, and I'll talk about what agents are. I'm going to assume that you have some understanding of agents, but I'll try to explain what agents are. And what we do is that we work with enterprise customers, B2B, and restaurant based. So think of McDonald's. Um, what they need is they need agents that can autonomously connect to their data and make decisions for forecasting, for prediction, for supply chain. So what we do is that we build those agents that can connect autonomously and run, and that's what Arich helps us build. One more division that we have is the division which we call large, which is language for all regions. And this division, it has one job. It builds LLM. We build LLMs, open source LLMs across the world in different languages. So some of you might have heard of one of our LLM, which we call Aleph. Aleph is an LLM that we built last year. It's almost been a year. It was the first dedicated English-Urdu bilingual LLM, and at that point when we released, it was the top performing LLM model in the world at that. Of course, people have improved, new models have come up. We are very happy that we've inspired people. There's a student by the name of Taimur. He's from NAST. Mashallah, he built Kalp ke naam se, he built an LLM. Some of you might have heard about Kalp. So what we are doing is that we don't see it as a competition. We see it as an opportunity to work together and sort of inspire people to build something. Okay, we are building language models for large is not something that is our full-time job. It is a job that we take seriously as part of our research. So for that research, we love the fact that there are people who are pushing the boundaries and building more models for that. And we would love to work with you all, or some of you, if you want to help build Urdu better. And I'll talk about why this is important in Pakistan. Well, I'll talk about the details on why we built Aleph and why is it important to improve research on it. But this is one of the teams. These are the customers that we have worked with in the past or we are currently working with. And the reason we are working with them is that we are building vertical agents for them, which is separate from what we do for Aleph. These are the different companies. And this was our, in 2024, we won an event at Meta. I think there were about 13 different countries and 750 companies that had applied for that program. We ended up being the first one set, and that led us to form our large, the community that we call large, and that's what we've been doing, building language models. The best thing about Aleph is there's supposed to be a video here. For some reason, it's not showing up right now. But what the best thing about Aleph is that Aleph works without internet. So you can download it on your phone. Sorry, guys. So the best thing about Aleph is that Aleph you can download on your phone. And once you download it on your phone, it can run on the compute of your phone. So what we've done is that we've done quantization, and if you don't know what quantization is, it's okay. It's a compression of an LLM. So we compressed Aleph in a way that it can run from 16 GB of your phone. So what we are focused on is improving Aleph. That's what we want to do. We want to improve Aleph in a way. It has text, it has audio, and you can converse with it. But what we are hoping to do and initiate relationship with innovation with you all is you build apps that use Aleph inference from your phone. Because internet is pretty bad. A little outside Karachi, imagine internet kaisa hoga. Go to rural areas of Pakistan, wahan par internet kaisa hoga. And we're just not thinking, oh, we want to give this, like you should have a chatbot to talk to. But what we are focused on, I'll show you here. This is an example of a product which we recently, which we are launching right now. This is an AI tutor that we are launching, or we sort of launched without the need to run on internet. So what if you could go to different parts of Pakistan and giving a device is cheap. Giving a small tablet of 16 GB RAM is not difficult. Like there are people who are willing to sponsor that. But what this is it's a product that will run and open sourced without the need to connect to internet. So whenever you need to connect to internet, it will self-update, it will auto-update. We want to work with people like you so that we can improve this. इसमें भी बहुत सारा काम है इसमें iOS नहीं that's not our focus, but what our focus is that can we improve the speed, can we improve the goodness, can we improve the implementation of this. That is something that is our focus for Pakistan, and we want to push that to everyone, every person who does not have access to a teacher. And this is not an advertisement that say we want this sponsorship. What we are saying is let's work together. We will pay you to build it. We just want to work with people who are interested in building these things. We are providing the inference. So जो भी inference चाहिए होती है, we are the ones who are providing that. What we want from you is to work with us on this. So I don't know if the audio will work. Let's see. Let's go back here. I don't know if this will work right now, but can you tell me about NAD?
NAD stands for Nick.
Let me try it. क्या आप मुझे कराची की NAD यूनिवर्सिटी के बारे में बता सकते हैं?
जी हाँ, कराची की NAD यूनिवर्सिटी पाकिस्तान की मशहूर यूनिवर्सिटियों में से एक है। ये इंजीनियरिंग और टेक्नोलॉजी में मुख्तलिफ।
So the reason I'm showing you this is that this is a Urdu trained voice AI which you can run from your phone. I mean, अभी हमने इसको launch नहीं किया as a service. It's right now an API. But imagine if this voice tone, which is trained on Pakistani voices and dialects, our focus is that we want to bring this to Pakistan widely available. Because there are a lot of people who have asked here, we don't like, for example, आप लोग जो है, you use InDrive, you use Yango. What if we could add this to it? WhatsApp increase the size of the pie by including voice notes. How many of you use voice notes in WhatsApp now? Right? A lot of you, right? How many of your parents use voice notes? A lot more, right? So what are we doing is that we're increasing the size of the pie by adding voice. So this is an initiative that we want to work with you all. Okay, how can we introduce voice in such a way that you build the apps, you add voice to it, so that you can have more people who can use that product. Because for my mother, using WhatsApp at age 70 is very difficult. But she will say, okay, bye, thank you, as a text, but everything else is audio. So अगर आपने grocery apps बनाए या आपने कोई भी app बनाया, go beyond Gen Z, go to the people who actually, like, there's a huge aging population in Pakistan. What if we can introduce these tools to them? So voice is very, very important, and voice is the number one thing that we are investing in for the future. Not just for Pakistan, but for our customers also. And we'll show you some of the products that we're working on. Abhi, they're all in chat format. But voice, I mean, my understanding is 2026 and 2027 is going to be the year of voice AI. So the first recommendation that I have for you all is that अगर आप लोग voice AI में invest कर सकते हैं अपना time. Everything that you need is open sourced. There is nothing there is no book which is like there's almost every single course जो आपको चाहिए ना that is available on YouTube right now. Every single thing that requires you to have the knowledge of it is also available online. If knowledge is free, it's your time which matters. If you are interested in AI, focus on voice AI inference. Focus on how you can go from text to speech and direct speech. So text to speech होता है कि you get a model, so for example, it's a text model. The text model generates tokens, and those tokens are then converted into a voice. That's text to speech. Some of those models have a lot of latency in them because it takes time to generate one token and then convert it into voice. But then what we have built is a direct text to speech, which means is that it's not generating, like it is parallelly generating tokens, but it is generating voice at the same time. So the latency of this this model is very, very low, right? So focus on business problems that you can solve using this. Like, agar aap kuch nahi karo na, build something for your university. Build something that could be a summarizer of the lectures that your professor has given. Start doing small things. You don't have to change the world today, but you have to. What I'm trying to introduce you is different tools. Voice AI is number one, which we as a company are extremely focused on this year because we feel like the number of users who will use your product and can take advantage of that product will increase. My mother cannot use InDrive. It's very difficult for her to figure that out. But if she can use voice, she keeps saying, "Agar isme awaaz aa jaye na, I can tell you mujhe kahan jana hai." So imagine how many people can start using your products. Whatever you build, because हम लोग जब भी कुछ बनाते हैं, we have to build it in English. जब भी कुछ बनाते हैं, उसमें इतने सारे buttons होते हैं, चीजें होती हैं, because we build it from our bias. We don't build it from the bias of other people, like people who are different age groups, people from different demographics. We just think, hey, this is going to be used by me and my class fellow. No. Think of products that you're building or apps that you're trying to design or any system that you're trying to design. Think of more people. If you work in e-commerce, like online e-commerce is a young person's. Why is that? Why can't हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं कि WhatsApp का वो बना दें, एक ऐप बना दें, WhatsApp agent बना दें, in which your parents can say मुझे ये, these are the 5-6 things I need, and that could be converted into a cart and so on and so forth. So again, my emphasis for you all is to remember that voice is extremely important, and if you invest in if you invest in voice right now for your career, it will be very helpful because that skill is in demand, coming up very soon. So that's one. Second thing is what I wanted to show you all is what we are releasing is one of the most comprehensive benchmarks for LLMs for Urdu. So if you ever build, like what we are doing is we are open source. We are not saying we're going to guardrail everything that we have designed for building an LLM. We are saying if you want to build a better LLM, Urdu LLM, we're going to give you a benchmark, which is built on world standards benchmarks. So what we did is we picked up about 10 different benchmarks. And we converted them we translated them into Urdu, contextually translated them into Urdu. What that has done is that you can, if you launch an Urdu LLM, you can actually say that we tested on global benchmarks to see the accuracy of these models. So you will now be recognized. What we do is that we hack our way through things. We just say कि हमने उर्दू LLM बना दिया. अब nobody knows how good or how bad it is because there were no actual benchmarks. जो benchmark पहला था वो भी हमने बनाया था, but that was a very in-house build with no standardization. This benchmark is the first standardized Urdu benchmark that has ever been built, and of course it's going to be open source, like in a way that you guys can also contribute to it. So if you're focused on building voice AI, if you're focused on building Urdu LLMs, which will be a part of your ecosystem whether you like it or not. So either you build it or you use it. And if you build it, this benchmark, with the name of UBench, is what you can use to implement to test your models. All right. So this was a brief overview about some of the things that we are doing Pakistan related, some of the things that we have done, with Urdu. What I will do now is going to shift gears, and I'm going to switch to the American version, right? So, why are we all here? We are here because we all use ChatGPT more than we like. Your professors know that आपने जो assignment किया है वो उसमें आपने ChatGPT से copy करके लिखा है. आपके जो professors ने आपको question दिए वो भी ChatGPT से लिख कर दिया. Right? So it's a back and forth conversation which you are seeing right now, right? 50% of the content that you see right now is GPT generated in some form or other, right? And the worst form is companies are raising billions of dollars in the name of wrapper companies. Number one wrapper company in the world, I'm saying it on YouTube, is Perplexity for me. Perplexity is a tool that आप लोग शाम को बैठ के बना लो, like you can do on one session. Of course, their greatness comes from this software engineering. The core capability of that product is very easy to catch. Yes, they are working on their own search engine, but their search engine capabilities are available as an API for sense. The fact that you have an LLM that answers, it's the most primitive form of RAG, and yet they are valued, I don't know what, 20 billion now. But the point is, it worked. The genius of that team lies in how they marketed. The genius lies that they identified a gap, and the worst thing is Google allowed them to prosper. Google could have killed them at any point, or Google could have sort of built this product way ahead of time, but Google was sleeping on it. So they let a company come to existence. And so there is a very low moat, and you might have heard the name moat being mentioned a lot. Yes, what moat? This M-O-A-T. And moat basically refers to the fact that what is the good, like how defendable is your product? How much time will it take 3 developers on a weekend to rebuild whatever you have built? Right? So we are here to discuss that, on what is happening with generative AI and what are the different applications of it. So I'm sure you know this definition. Generative AI is basically it's a branch of AI which generates different kinds of modalities. For example, it can generate text, it can generate images, it can generate voice. But the one thing that we are seeing now is agents. How many of you have heard of agents? Right? You have heard of agent in one form or the other, right? So agents are just everywhere right now. Agents are non-stop everywhere. Everybody is building an agent. किसी ने LangGraph पे बनाया, किसी ने LangChain पे बनाया, किसी ने QAI पे बनाया. There's so many agents. But can somebody define me what an agent is? Can somebody tell me कि agent क्या है? Anyone? Go ahead. Okay. So basically something that runs autonomously without the need of using it, something that runs autonomously without any intervention. Right? So this is a complicated explanation. What is an agent? It's an artificial intelligent agent is a software program that can interact with its environment, collect data, and use data to perform self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals. Right? This is a whole lot of complicated stuff. So let me break it down. Currently, what we do is हम लोग एक prompt लिखते हैं. That prompt generates a response, and what we do is that we copy that response and send it. Right? This is what 99.9% of the use cases is what we have for ChatGPT. Then there is people like you who are developers. You use Cursor. How many of you use Cursor? Right? How many of you use some kind of copilot to code? Right? So आप लोगों को पता है कि there are a lot of tools out there now. Like I can't even remember the number because most common is Cursor, Cloud Code. So what we have done is that we have ditched Cursor कि जो अपनी AI है, we've integrated Cursor with Cloud Code. So we run VS Code with Cloud Code, which is right now I think the state of the art. If you haven't used Cloud Code, you should use Cloud Code. You will see how good it is. So these are the two ways most people have used AI, or you're using AI right now. The way you want to use agents, the way we use agents is basically agent का काम ये होता है that it's an orchestration. The orchestration enables you to use the output of an LLM to do something. So for instance, you guys have probably seen Lovable, right? Lovable people? Yes, no? Yeah, you live or so I can't see your faces. So if you raise your hand, I will know better. So Lovable is a product जिसमें you write a prompt. I would like you to make a form. I would like you to make a website. It generates code. The AI does not make the website. The orchestration by an engineer makes the website. So this is what an agent. You have an LLM in the middle. You have tools and you have state that helps you define and run the agent. So these tools and the state might have been built by an LLM, but they are orchestrated and designed by a developer, which is independent of the LLM itself. So the LLM for you is building out, the LLM for you is generating content. The content could be code. The content could be text. It could be anything. It could be series of anything. But what you are doing is you're putting tools behind the scenes to use that to generate an output, which enables an agent to do many, many things. So, can anybody tell me what do they think Claude Code is? I mean, I know it's an agent. It's some kind of agent. But Apo, what do you think is happening behind the scenes? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. So basically, at the heart of every agent, there's an LLM. I hope that is clear, right? What happens after that is that you have a lot of functions, which we call as tools. Those functions are invoked as a JSON when we get a JSON output from the LLM. So we tell the, and I'll show you different examples of how that is invoked. But we basically tell the LLM, okay, you have access to all these different tools. When I say tools, for example, weather is a tool. Getting weather of a place is a tool, or it's a function. We tell the LLM you have access to this function. So whenever a user asks, can you tell me the weather of place X, it will send that request to that tool will generate an output, and then the LLM will display that output. So essentially, we use ChatGPT on a daily basis. ChatGPT is a product. ChatGPT is not a model. ChatGPT is a product. The model that runs within it is which one? OpenAI. OpenAI GPT 4, 4.0, 4.1, 5.0 Nano, right? So that is an LLM. So the LLM is connected to many, many different things. So when Perplexity gives you an output of web search is a tool which is coupled with an LLM. So जब आप सवाल पूछते हो, it uses web search to retrieve that answer, and then it wraps that answer into an LLM to generate an output. This is what we call RAG. Right? So the agent that we see over here is built only on prompts and tools. And this concept is called context engineering. So, and I'll show you an example of a multi-billion-dollar company which people had, and they were able to showcase. So the goodness or the mode of a company is a series of prompts only. And I want to emphasize that a lot. Claude Code, jitna acha chalta hai, yes, it's partially because of Sonnet and the different LLMs that are within them. But everything around that, the way it works and the ability for it to work is based on a prompt. So prompt engineering leading to context engineering. How many of you know what context? Anyone who knows what context? What is context engineering? Yes. So under context engineering, so you don't actually have to have a good LLM. Like you don't have to build the LLM. Sorry, you don't have to build an LLM yourself. आप किसी का भी LLM ले लें, कोई भी LLM ले लें as a commodity, and you build a series of prompts around it. Those prompts enable you to build agents. So, in a nutshell, a multi-billion-dollar company is good because they can write good English. That is all. And if you Google leaked prompt of Claude or leaked prompt of any tool, there will be a prompt, so you can actually build it yourself. So you going from using an LLM to building an agent, the only difference is these things, LLM, the LLM on one side, prompts and tools. और tool का काम होता है, tools are just like functions which you design in object-oriented programming. आप जो functions बनाते हैं, जो tools बनाते हैं, they're just connected. They're just orchestrated in one workflow. So agents is just a fancy way of saying that we have connected LLMs to different functions, and we have been doing it for a very long time, just without LLMs. So in ML ops, you might have known the word ML. किसी को पता what ML ops is? So ML ops में what we do is that we basically build a bash script which will run step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. All we have done is that in the middle we have added an LLM so that the output is dynamic. We've been running it in production for 10 or 15 years now. The only difference is that the dynamic nature of LLM makes it have many use cases. Alright. Now, there is one question that we often ask is that what is it that Gen AI can do for you? So, as every one of you uses ChatGPT or Cursor or anything, what do you think is the one reason you use it? Like, give me one word answers. Anyone? Okay, why? What? Time saving. And anyone else? Jibble.
New ideas या फिर आपके previous ideas को मज़ीद polish करने के लिए.
Exactly. So basically, the word that we want to use, or we use the word very loosely in US, is productivity. Okay? You can do a lot in very little time. उसके बाद आप जो now you have more free time. Now you can spend it on Instagram, you can invest in TikTok, or you can actually do more work. I choose to do less work. That's my problem. But what I'm trying to say is productivity was the number one thing that was offered. So what you have been doing, you use productivity as a tool, or you say, I'm getting productivity gains because previously I could do 5 things in 2 hours, now I can do 25 things in 5 minutes. So agent enables you to reach productivity gains. Alright, and hopefully it can sort of reduce, as somebody said, repetitive tasks, act autonomously, and adapt to change. I'm going to skip a few slides, but what I want to focus on is, let's start with this slide. So this is the reality versus expectation, or expectation versus reality. What we expect is that हम जब agent बनाएंगे, the agent will autonomously run, the agent will do everything that we need to do, and it will make our lives easy. But we are in that phase right now is that the reality is that everything is breaking every single day. Models change हो रहे हैं, Python packages change हो रहे हैं, dependencies change हो रही हैं, नए tools आ रहे हैं. So the problem is that the reality is that you have to be running. So the example of understanding AI is that you have to sprint in a marathon. Previously, you होता था कि आप 100-meter race का आप sprint करते थे and you just run for 100 meters. Now it's a marathon and you have to continuously run really fast as if you're running a sprint. Because you just have to keep building. Like you can choose not to do anything, you can choose not to build anything. But the problem is that the reality is that you have to keep building these things over and over again. Like, you've been working on AI and LLM, right? Every 6 months something changes. Or your 2 साल पहले का जो architecture था, that's not even valid anymore. Because LLM have changed, prompts have changed, architecture designs have changed, more things have come. So you as developers, you are constantly in this phase. This is what you are on the left hand side, is that what we continuously are, that we are living this reality where we are breaking in the things. This is the most important part that I want to discuss with you all, because you are all developers. And this is where you can pick and choose on what you want to build for the future. I showed you voice AI as part of one of the things to invest. The other thing is, this is a very important slide. Like if you want to take a picture, this is the one slide that you should take a picture of. is basically, we are at this point in time, we're defining the agentic architectures in 3 forms. We are saying they are agents which are automated, which can do automated tasks. Second is we have agents who can reason and act, where the LLM is making a plan for you. And the third level is we have multi-agent systems where multiple agents are talking to each other. So this is how we are usually defining architectures right now as a way to build and solve a problem. And in most cases, 60 to 70% of all the use cases exist in automation agent. Okay. So the first agent that we talk about is an automation agent. And the automation agents which we use right now are, how many of you have worked with N8N? Anyone who's worked with N8N? Use N8N like crazy. N8N enables you to build a ton of agents without doing any code. So some of you will be like, I don't like to code. And your lack of ability to code pulls you from wanting to achieve a lot of things. N8N is this amazing tool that is enabling you to build agents that does not require any form of code. So the first tier of agents, for example, you build a WhatsApp agent that can make a grocery list for you. आपने एक picture ली, आपने grocery list लिखी, like your mom wrote a grocery list, you took a picture of it, and that becomes a cart for you. At some e-commerce store, you use an automation agent. Right here. आपको InDrive इस्तेमाल करना है, उसमें आपने voice AI डाला कि based on this, I would like to find my destination. That's voice. That's an automation agent. Your agent is not thinking on its own on what to do. You have defined all the steps for your agent. अगर आपको customer service call आती है, आपके your company receives, there's an AI that answers a customer request. The AI, you have designed the AI to build a pipeline on how it should answer your question. That is an automation agent. And if you think about it, बहुत सारी चीजें पाकिस्तान में dependent होती हैं एक call center पर. Like you have to call a customer service, you have to call someone. What if we can call TCS and TCS वाले बोले कि please enter your QR code or your parcel number and we'll tell you the status of it, right? Or reschedule it, or delay it, or find a new time for pickup, or create a new order. All of these things we have to rely on humans and people. What if hospitals could have automation just where you can call it and you can say, I need an appointment. It's not an urgent appointment, but I need an appointment for the next 1 week. And there's an agent which is doing that for you. Or आप WhatsApp पे text बना सकते. You can literally, all of these things that you need to do is a step-by-step process जो आप खुद design करते हैं in N8N. Like you don't let the AI decide on what to do. You just tell the AI when you receive a request like this, your job is to do A, B, C, or D. You don't have to do anything else than on your own. You don't have to think. Just create. जैसे आप ChatGPT को इस्तेमाल करते हो ना, कि अगर एक आपके पास एक prompt है, उसका response generate होना है, so you will say, I need you to generate a response. And believe it or not, I use this automation tool for many things in my company. So number one, I run a startup. We have about 15 different engineers or 15 different people in our company. There's a dependency on me to answer questions. Every day, at the end of the day, I get a note, an AI agent says, you were tagged in these many things. This is the order of importance. Please make sure that you answer them, or this is a click that you can go to remove a blocker. That's one simple agent. Second agent, I use an agent to generate decks for me, or like presentations for me. All I have to do is build an automation agent जो कि step 1 करेगा, step 2 करेगा, step 3 करेगा, step 4 करेगा, and once it's done, it works seamlessly. Last, I'll give you an example of an agent we find customers. So we have a product which we call Olive. Olive is for data science. So how many of you are data scientists or aspiring data scientists, right? For data science code is a little tougher to write, right? So we have built Olive, which is like Cursor, but specifically for companies. So that's the product that we are selling. How do we sell? We need to find customers. So we have an agent जो कि websites को scrape करता है and it says, based on my information, these are the 10 different customers you should talk to today. All of that, अगर हमें एक customer भी मिलता है ना महीने का, we have a 1000x return because it costs us less than 1 cent a day to run that tool. And if we end up with a customer who's paying us $100, that's 1000x return. So there are a lot of things that you can automate around you, within your university, within your life, within your home, within the company that you will end up working with. So 70% of all the use cases that you will see are automation use cases. कि भाई मैंने आपको बता दिया आपको ऐसे करना है, आप बस एक agent बना दो जो कि step 1 करे, step 2 करे, step 3 करे, with a GPT in the middle that is supposed to generate a dynamic content, put some guardrails around it, and it will generate an output. And this is the empowerment for non-technical users because they can express the problem they're trying to solve and use automation engines in a no-code format to run. Second version or level of agents are what we use: Lovable, Replit, and Bolt. Now, I know most of you know or have heard of these tools. These tools are making its own plan. You say, आपने कहा कि मुझे एक website चाहिए जिसमें एक जिसमें customer service charge, or let's just say you want a website जिसमें you want to sell cakes, and for those cakes you want an e-commerce website जिसमें checkout का option हो. You can upload different pictures of cakes, and they should be able to place an order and have delivery connected to it. These agents, what they do is that they build their own pathway based on the tools that you have delivered. And these agents are the most successful ecosystem right now. So Cursor, Claude Code, Lovable. We are in the world of React agents right now. These companies have gone from 0 to $100 million in revenue, recurring revenue, in less than 1 year. Because these companies are working on reason and acting, in which you are letting the AI decide, or you're letting the LLM make a plan for you. The LLM is saying, I've taken a request from you, I'm going to build the entire product for you, or I'm going to take you to the finish line. I mean, we're working with 2 groups right now in here in NAD, and we could tell that they had vibe coded the entire front end on Lovable. I mean, it was pretty clear that it was built on Lovable, but the idea is that you will outsource every single thing that you don't need to do to something else that can do it better for you. These are React agents. And if you spend time and invest your time in learning how React agents works, you will be really ahead of your time. Because most companies want people like Lovable ne paise bana liye, Cursor ne paise bana liye, but there are companies that have better ideas or different ideas, and they need developers who can understand how React is. Right? That's why I was saying that first picture was important. And the third level of agents, or third different kind of agents, are what we call agent-to-agent infrastructures. This is what most Fortune 100 companies are interested in. They don't want to work with React agents, which are like Lovables of the world, but they want to build customer support agents. So, how many of you know IHOP? I think the IHOP is in Pakistan also. How many of you know IHOP? IHOP is a restaurant, it's a very famous restaurant, a breakfast restaurant. IHOP has introduced AI order taker. When you call IHOP, there's a human-like entity, which is not human. It will say, I'm an AI, I'm here to take your order. It's taking an order, it's finding out the availability, whether the product is available. It is taking your credit card and generating an entire cash flow. It generates an order, it charges your credit card, sends a SMS to your phone, okay, this is the delivery time. You don't interact with almost any human at the end of the day. Now, some of you will be like, is this the end of humanity, as we know? So my answer to this is, and this is a true answer which I believe, you will not be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by people who use AI. So this is the time, and if you think about this is all smoke screens, this is all FOMO, this is all hype. Yes, it is all of those, but it is also true at some point. You have the capacity and the capability to think about कि पाकिस्तान में आप क्या-क्या चीजें बना सकते हैं. This tool, these A2A agents are extremely useful if you identify a use case and say we would like to. So what we are working with, and most often it's a customer service agent, but what we are trying to do is you can log onto a website and speak to that chatbot on that website, in which it will tell you whether you want to purchase an item, whether you want to return an item. It's completely personalized to your use cases. So the reason companies are using them is not because they don't have enough humans. It's because they don't have enough humans. They don't have enough. The call volume is so high. The number of consumers are so high that they want to introduce AI that can automate some part of it so that they can service as many customers as they can with as little time as possible. Like imagine agar aapko koi kahe you have to wait for 20 minutes on a call, you will hang up the phone, right? What if your call was answered and triage ka matlab ye hota hai ki it was assessed and they were like, okay, the AI can solve that for you automatically. For example, aapki payment team, you sent a payment or you are supposed to make a payment and online is not working for some reason. You can call that center, you can call that place, and these agents will enable your credit card to be taken without a human being involved, and it's more secure. So agent-to-agent architecture is the third generation of agents, which is becoming very, very important and very, very useful. And that's what we are going after. So we are integrating voice with agent-to-agent architectures. These are the most complex to build. They have a high failure rate also. But if you put in guardrails, we are saving a lot of money for our customers, right? So focus on seeing where your strength lies. You want to be at level 1. You can build many agents. They can do individual work. There's money in that. There's a lot of demand for it. Level 2. That's where the maximum money is right now, cash cows. Because companies are building these tools, and honestly, Cursor is a 4th version of VS Code with AI attached to it. Claude Code is taking over, and Claude will basically build something better on top of that. Third, agent-to-agent architectures. These are complex, these are difficult, they have limited use cases in involvement, but when they work, they are the maximum. They make you a lot of, they enable you with a lot of sales. This is the information which I shared, how I use agents on a daily basis. There are agents, our agents find us customers, my agents find me backlog summarizer, it generates content for me. So the reason I use agents is because it's my use case. It does not have to be your use case, but they are useful and they are working for us in a way with vulnerabilities. So don't vibe code your way along, and I'll talk about vibe code in a minute. But the idea is that they are useful and they're proven to have a lot of value. All right. How many of you know Manus AI? All right. Few of you. So Manus AI was this company, I think, that came out a year ago, and it was supposed to be the co-pilot of the future. Like it has everything. वो सब कुछ कर सकता है. World hunger के अलावा it can solve everything, right? It had the capability of planning. It had the capability of writing code for you. It had the capability of doing every single thing. In 1 week, people found out, and I don't know if you guys can read this, but basically, it was a thin layer of software engineering and prompting on top of Claude itself. So companies which are valued at multi-billion dollars are just a level of prompting on top of LLMs that are built up. All they do is they take a product which is built by OpenAI or Claude or Anthropic, and they put a thin layer of their own branding of software front end and some back end. They change the colors of things, of course, and they connect their APIs and they're running everything which is not their own at the end of the day. Most of the things that they have built have been taken from other companies. So this is the Frankenstein version, and this is the 2026 version of raising billions of dollars, and they're getting acquired by Meta. Right? So that's your opportunity also to build something so amazing, which could be a thin layer on top of existing technology. You just have to identify the problem you're trying to solve. What we do most often, I'm going to give you an honest definition. Most of us build demo first and then try to fit that product into a problem. We don't say कि ये problem है, इसका हमने solution बनाया. हम एक shiny demo देखते हैं. We look at a shiny demo. हमने YouTube में किसी ने एक demo बना दिया. We've taken the demo. We reverse engineer because their GitHub is available. We say, oh, we have done such a fancy tool. We never focus, or we mostly never focus on identifying what is the business problem you're trying to solve. That is the crux of why companies are successful versus not successful. It is never the technology. Most often, it's never the technology. It's how useful that product is. It's how useful that product is to the customer that is going to increase creative need. Perplexity is a level one automation company. All it does, it answers your question, and yes, they have they have Perplexity Pro and other things in it. But what is it? It's a series of prompts again. They don't have a very good search engine. I mean, their search engine, they were using Google for a long time also. So it does not matter where the tools are coming from. All they're doing is wrapping over things, orchestrating them, and selling. Now, I'm not saying you should do that in a sense of sell something which is fake, but there's an opportunity for you to build something based on, like you could build a version of Claude Code for your university. I'll give you a very simple example, and we'll sort of end after that. There's a company called there's a company in Kenya, a hospital in Kenya. They built an app with the name of Prompts. Now I want you to remember that app. It's called Prompts. All it does is that it connects to your WhatsApp or connects to your, like, basically I have a number, but you can text on a number, or you can voice note, or you can send an image. It is built for maternal health. And imagine Pakistan mein the need for those things. Forget internet. What if you could send a text, or you can send a voice note, or something? I know voice note you're gonna need internet, but what if you could send a text in Sindhi, in Urdu, in English? My kid is having this problem. Or आपको actually एक AI answer करे with which is on research topic. It does not answer you like ChatGPT, but it answers. So think about those basic things. हमारे पास तो इतने सारे low hanging fruits in Pakistan में कि if you start thinking about it, you can spend an entire day coming up with products that you can build in 2 days. Don't go after the craziest things. Start with, charity starts at home. Start with the most basic products like cleanliness and health consciousness की information नहीं हमारे पास. You can build these tools right, like within the day you can build these tools and enable people, like so many different people. All you need, and that again is an automation agent. आपको एक number लेना जो कि most of you probably know कि you can connect your phone number to an answering machine, to AI that can answer it. You receive a message कि मुझे ये problem है. You can do A, B, C, or urgently call a doctor. These information of maternal health is so important. So hospitals, universities, they are working on low-hanging fruits that can be done, and we will work with you. Like if you identify a low-hanging fruit problem that is very useful for masses of Pakistan, we will help you. We will give you the inference. We will give you direction. We will give you mentorship. But what we don't want to do anything with it in terms of ownership. We just want to enable you all कि आप लोग उन problems के बारे में सोचें. All right. So one last thing is, this is what you guys do mostly, right? Or I expect you all to at least do vibe coding. कि आप लोग जो हो, you write a prompt, it generates an output for you, it generates website for you, generates code for you. This is vibe coding right now. And most people feel like this, like, you know, I don't need to worry about coding at all. It's so easy. All I'm going to do is vibe code the heck out of things. This is the picture I want you all to remember. Because what will happen is, and maybe you can watch it on the TV, but this basically says that what happened to him, he says he did vibe coding in prompt. So while within अकल के लिए भी नकल के लिए भी अकल चाहिए होती है, I'm sorry I keep mixing that. नकल के लिए भी अकल चाहिए होती है, vibe coding के लिए भी थोड़ी अकल चाहिए. We tend to go in that rabbit hole of vibe coding over vibe coding over vibe coding, and then we get frustrated, and then the code is so complicated कि हमें समझ नहीं आता कि हुआ क्या है. So please, this is my one advice to you, one request. Vibe code, but please understand आपके सामने वाला जो है ना उसको भी पता है कि आपने vibe coding की. Because our biggest thing, the biggest lie we told ourselves is that किसी को समझ ही नहीं आता, like nobody is cool enough or smart enough more than me. The problem is वो आपके साथ ही बंदा है. उसको भी पता है कि आपने vibe coding की, आपको भी पता है कि उसको पता है कि आपने vibe coding की, but there is a chance that he does not, that they do not register that you have vibe coding. There is a chance that your professors do not know कि इन्होंने vibe coding की. Your professors were also teachers. Oh, sorry, they were also students at some point. उनको भी पता है कि किस तरह से मामू बनाया जाता है teachers. Right? And they let go. Believe me, they let go of you sometimes. They know what's happening because you have 5 teachers, you have 10 teachers. They have hundreds of students. उन्होंने इतना पैटर्न देख लिया, उन्होंने तो एआई का पैटर्न देख लिया. दे नो 2023 में बच्चे कैसे आंसर कर सकते हैं, 2024 में बच्चे कैसे आंसर करते हैं, 2026 में बच्चे एग्जाम्स का कैसे आंसर करते हैं. हमें ये लाइक टीचर्स नो कि क्लॉड कोड जब से आया है, कोड की कैसे आर्किटेक्चर चेंज हुई. And while you think that you're being very smart, they also know that you're using cloud code behind the scenes. So it's fine, you can use it, but use it with the strength to uplift yourself, not to get away with not understanding what's happening behind the scenes. The biggest problem that we're seeing within our own company also we see is that इतनी ज़्यादा vibe coding हुई भी होती है कि actually वो explain ही नहीं कर सकते कि हुआ क्या है. So my one last request to you all is that use vibe coding as much as you want, but understand the explainability of it. And don't lie to yourself. We are so delusional, and mashallah हम लोग इतने delusional हैं कि we believe इसको तो पता नहीं चलेगा कि मैंने vibe coding की है. मुझे मेरा पूरा कोड समझ में आता है और मुझे पता है कि ये कोड हमेशा चलेगा. All of these things are actually stupid on our behalf. And this is not just your problem, this is something that I repeat to everybody. Please vibe code responsibly. Please don't go all in. But like, just because you show a senior developer that you've run a code and it works does not mean that you know what's happening behind the scenes. And they will tell you what are some of the best practices. And when you say na कि ChatGPT ने मुझे कहा ये करने के लिए, I promise you, that's the last straw for most senior developers, because there is knowledge which ChatGPT does not have. So I want to etch this, and it's better on the picture over here. I want to etch this image in your memory. Vibe code responsibly. Vibe code in a way that you know what's happening with your code. Do not build a code that will make you go into a rabbit hole. And when you go into that, delete the whole thing and start from scratch, or start from a point where you know what is happening. Because Lovable will build you a very good website, but it will also expose your environment variables in the open. How many GitHubs, I mean, abhi unhone introduce kiya ki they protect your variables. 2 years ago, OpenAI keys were just being, just available everywhere. Because what people were doing is that they were not even making environment variables in a separate environment variables in the open. On using AI, think of the agents that you can do. Invest your time and efforts in voice AI. Please invest your time in voice AI. and focus on problems that are very low-hanging fruits that you can solve today. Talk to people who work in your home. उनकी मेडिकल इश्यूज के उनको बताएं ये हमने एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया इसमें आप टेक्स्ट कर दें बस it will tell you what to do. People don't know about vaccines that they have to take. I know vaccine can be a controversial topic sometimes. Hopefully in Pakistan people know that vaccines are hugely useful and helpful, but that kind of knowledge needs to be given to people and made more available. So I'll just end with this. Buy code responsibly, invest your time in voice AI, and focus on building a career around Gen AI infrastructure for agents, because that's the future that is coming for you, whether you like it or not. And understand that जो 5 साल पहले पढ़ाया जाता था ना वो absolutely useless हो. And one last thing, don't invest your time in LangChain and Llama Index because they're crappy tools. All right, thank you everyone. All right, what questions do you have for me? Anyone?
सर आप ये किताब से लैंडस्केप और आप do you have the same opinion on LangChain?
It's built on LangChain.
सेकंड थिंग हर 6 महीने में अपडेट है तो अगर आपने कोई एनवायरनमेंट बनाया है तो आपको अपडेट करना पड़ेगा आपकी एप्लीकेशन कांस्टेंट अपडेशन मांगेगी ऑन द अदर हैंड अगर आप कोई स्टेबल को रेडी के या खुद से कुछ क्रिएट करें तो वो एनवायरनमेंट वैसे ही रहेगा और हालुसिनेशंस स्टोर रहेंगी आपका कंट्रोल रहेगा स्ट्रक्चर पे तो ये वन ऑफ द रीजन है कि llama index मैनेजिंग हम लोग यूज नहीं करते.
And they've been taking a lot from companies. Companies actually get in, they're on LangChain and Llama Index on the so we will not work with you. So they expect you to not use it anymore. Questions? Any other questions? Achha, let me ask you, what is LangChain doing for you? RAG, let's say something. RAG कितना मुश्किल है? What is RAG? RAG is search and generation, right? And some chunking. Chunking is very easy to implement yourself. Search is very complicated, which LangChain actually falls apart in many situations because वो vanilla search बनाते हैं. So for your time spent on building the infrastructure for search and chunking will give you dividends for many years to come. और आप अगर किसी चीज मतलब even you like YouTube पर आप ये लिख लो ना build search or build RAG from scratch, you will find so many videos which will explain you how to do it yourself.
Like it provides you retrievers and chat models.
आपका कोड कम हो जाता है लेकिन आपको पता नहीं कि उसके अंदर हो क्या है. The problem is कि first करो, I'm guessing you don't cook. Do you cook at your home? Okay. This works very well with adults because when you cook, right? हम लोग जब US जाते हैं ना तो हम लोग पहले जाते हैं सिर्फ रेस्टोरेंट से बाहर खाना, फिर हम शान मसाले पर जाते हैं, ठीक है, फिर हम कहते हैं यार ये सब बेकार है, हम आप खुद सीखेंगे खाना बनाना. So you will see कि जब आप एक प्रोडक्ट जिसमें वनीला वो बना हुआ, like it's the same for everyone. It is very bland. It does not. It will build your retrieval, but the goodness of your retrieval, which is called evals, that will not be good enough. Wait, it is. All I'm saying is just prompting, right? Prompting, आप सीख लो, context engineering सीख ले. It will change your life the way you do things because when things break, right? आपको समझ नहीं आता कि क्या break हुआ है. And what you do now then is that cursor fix this. और फिर वो dependencies आपकी change होना शुरू हो जाती है. So you basically have to throw out the entire thing out of the door and build something from scratch. That's why organizations are focused on not using them. Like basically they are now stating that any project that we will do will not use LangChain or LangGraph. Questions?
आपने बोला कि आपने उर्दू एलएलएम बनाया है, लेकिन हम उसकी नीड क्यों है? क्योंकि चैट जीपीटी और क्लाउड प्लस बहुत सारे लैंग्वेज मॉडल्स हम उर्दू में भी आंसर करते हैं, तो वहाँ पे नीड क्या हुई आप?
You can run it offline.
सर हम ऑफलाइन तो रन करते हैं, लेकिन आपका कोई बेंचमार्क है वहाँ पे? क्या आप
समझ रहे थे मेरी कॉन्वर्सेशन? मैंने we build a benchmark.
सही है सर, लेकिन आपने ये बताया कि ऑफलाइन पे कितना बेंचमार्क है और ऑनलाइन जब
It's the same. It's the same. It's just the difference of inference. Inference कहाँ से आ रहा है? So what yeah, we know that inference might change based on the quantization of importance, right? So जो quantization हम लोग different levels of quantization, हम भी say कि quantization of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the complete model. उसमें benchmarking कैसे आपकी affect होती है?
Also, Generative and अभी recently हमने translations करी हैं benchmark की, तो वो लोग culturally aware हैं. Even तो हम लोग उनको provide कर रहे थे context, वो still कुछ words जो हैं जो कि उर्दू में हम किसी और context में लेते हैं और वो literal meaning उसको provide कर रहा था. तो ये recent Gemini models की हम बात कर रहे हैं. तो फिर still हमें उसको फिर human intervention के साथ train करना है. तो अभी भी उधर नहीं है. तो हमें और benchmarks की और ranking की जरूरत है, और जो ये 7 बिलियन या 8 बिलियन मॉडल्स हैं ये पूरा अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हैं. अगर आप उनको फाइन ट्यून कर रहे हैं तो इसके लिए आपको बेंचमार्क एज वेल एज एलएलएमसी की जरूरत है.
And second thing is security. अगर आप किसी भी गवर्नमेंट से जाकर बात करोगे ना, you are sending your data to OpenAI, you are sending your data to Claude. It's a big no-no. अगर आप सऊदी जाओ, like I work with the Saudi government, I work with UAE government, I work with Singapore government, the number and Pakistan government also, the number one thing they say is that हमें अपना data कहीं नहीं भेजना, because data is extremely secure. And if you have in your own multilingual format, your thousands of employees which are running data, they are not sending the data to some other entity, it's staying within the organization. So security and willingness to own your entire infrastructure code or data is the most important.
चलिए सर, ये आपने एलएलएम को बना दिया और तो इसकी एपीआईज आपने अवेलेबल की है जैसे हम लोकल कम्युनिटी के लिए कि हम
we have given the links to that. So the thing is that इसमें हम लोगों ने we built an API in a way कि you can test our versions. हमारे जो होता है वो सर्वर वो डाउन हो जाता है, उसको रिफ्रेश करोगे तो वो अपलिंक हो जाएगा उसका. But what we have done is that we have given you how you can run it on your own collaboration. आप कोलैब पर T4 से कनेक्ट करो तो you will be able to run it. All these links are available over here, right? And the last thing is कि हमारा जो direct speech है, we're also making it available very soon as an API.
अच्छा, ये स्लाइड्स आप शेयर कर दीजिएगा, फिर मैं स्टूडेंट्स के साथ शेयर कर दूँगी, क्योंकि लिंक्स वगैरह हैं इसमें.
जी. And there was a question.
We talked about the W1 text or speak, right?
Yeah.
Is it like can LLM be used for the text extraction to images, and what is the benchmark for that?
So there are many anything that you mention, there's a benchmark for it. So image extraction के benchmarks हैं, text extraction के benchmarks हैं, table extraction. So you basically focus on, you use an LLM to extract that information and then you benchmark to test it. Even Arich herself has done a very big benchmarking on image and table extraction also.
So is there any limitation related to any layouts for using like LLM?
Aleph is not multimodal. Aleph does not do text extraction. But Aleph is focused on, it's not receive, it can only receive text. It cannot receive any other thing, but that's a work in progress that we're doing. It requires a lot more money to make that happen. Any other question? There was one. And we can follow it after this.
सर आपने कहा था वाइट बोर्ड जितना कर सकते हो तो वाइट बोर्ड करना चाहिए. सो सर जो बिगनर्स होते हैं जिनको मतलब कि टेक्स्ट का इतना ज़्यादा आइडिया नहीं होता कि भाई कौन सा टेक्स्ट कितना इस्तेमाल होता है, तो सर अगर वाइट बोर्ड करेंगे तो उनमें और जो होते हैं जो कि क्या नाम है जिनको जो बिल्कुल ना इनको कुछ कोड की नॉलेज होती है, जिनको कोई टेक्निकल मतलब बैकग्राउंड नहीं होता, उनका क्या फायदा है? क्योंकि सर सेफ्टी इश्यूज भी इसके अंदर आ सकते हैं ना जो व्हाइट बोर्ड कर सकते हैं।
This is the biggest problem. जो लोग white board कर रहे हैं वो fraud में बहुत सारे errors हो रहे हैं. So बहुत सारे product managers जो हमारे साथ दुनिया में काम किया उन्होंने कहा we can white board this in one day. और उन्होंने किया. And then we have to prove to them. So what I suggest people is when you're starting out coding, use it as a tutor. Use AI as a tutor to fill in the gaps for you. But don't let the AI do everything for you. Right? Well, basically, the less hand-holding you have, the better you will get over time. What has happened is that everyone has access to everything, and then आपने कल एक आपने एक ऐसा complicated architecture बना दिया that आप भी नहीं explain कर सकते हुआ क्या, right? So this will happen and this will die on its own. You focus on your learning, which is using the tools and adapting to the tools through knowledge of growing slowly. But you can also design an AI. You can bytecode code an AI which will teach you how to do coding better. That's the power now.
सर आपने कहा यांगचेन और जो llama इंडेक्स है वो कैपिट हो गए, तो सर उनका अल्टरनेटिव क्या है? क्योंकि सर क्या नाम है उनका क्या है? सर जो मतलब यांगचेन है बहुत सारे मतलब कि ऑनलाइन जो पढ़ाते हैं सर यांगचेन से पढ़ा रहे हैं.
That's the problem. They also get paid for that. So the main सिर्फ तीन चीजें हो रही हैं at best: chunking, retrieval, and generation. This is one collab notebook only. That's it. आप literally आप Claude Code को बोलो build me a chunking policy which does not use LangChain. वो आपको explain कर देगा कि chunking आप समझो सही कि होता क्या है. देखो मैं आपको एक example देता हूँ. Again I'll give food example because everybody is hungry. हम लोग US में ब्राउन कीवी प्याज से खाना बनाते हैं, ठीक है? ब्राउन कीवी प्याज जो मार्केट से मिलती है ना, उसका एक डिस्टिंक्ट टेस्ट होता है, because उसमें प्रिजर्वेटिव्स होते हैं. But if you can learn how to slice and dice onions and cook them and brown them yourself at home, आपके खाने का टेस्ट कुछ होगा. So the point I'm trying to make is that you will want that level of perfection as you start building tools. Okay, yeah, they're not giving me the value that I want, so I'm going to push the bucket. I'm going to build something better. And most demos that you see online are very surface level. वो production में तो सोच ही नहीं जाते. Most stuff that you use Python, like if you use Rust-based applications, उनमें better application, better threading. Python is a single thread approach. Python should not be used in production the way we are thinking of using it in production right now. So most companies are rewriting things in Rust now. Alright, I think we should call it. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your time.
इसका ग्रुप फोटो करने वाला
सर आप देंगे
सर तो आने का क्या सर के बाद में
डॉक्टर मालवी ठीक है, we can have a group photo outside with all these
हाउस कटिंग ग्रुप फोटो की
या बेटा आप सब बाहर आ जाएं ग्रुप फोटो के लिए. ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज. और अपने बैग्स वगैरह ले लें सारी चीजें, ठीक है?
आइए
अगर आप ओके फिर माइनस करना पड़ेगा लास्ट में. आप हाँ हाँ